Hello, everyone. This is Dana from NexGen, and welcome to Me Inc. This evening, we're going to talk about something. This is the 1st of April, April Fool's Day, and is the second quarter of the year for my government people, third quarter. But on this April Fool's, there is nothing funny about losing data. So, the reason I wanted to talk about it today is I had an experience that I would like to share with you. Well, earlier this week, I found out that my data, the software that I have is no longer going to be supported. So I actually had to go get another computer. So I couldn't use the laptop for everything that I needed. I actually had to purchase software and put it on a new computer. So what I did was bought the computer, but I had to go someplace else to pick it up. So what I did in the interim is I did what they call a data backup. Now, in the business world, data backup is the process or the practice of copying data from a primary to a secondary location. And we do that to protect it in case of disaster, accident, or malicious action. And data is the lifeblood of an organization. And losing that data or information can cause massive damage and it can disrupt business operations. So for some of you that know me, when I was in the military, we did everything. We did have a computer, but it was not as robust as it is today. So we actually had paper, of course, and we had to duplicate that paper and store it at another location. When we got more automated, we had what they called tapes. So we ran a backup and stored it at a separate location from where we were. And I'm sure some other organizations have done the very same thing. So we fast forward into the 21st century. So we know that businesses need to back up their information. So it makes perfect sense that we, in our personal lives, back up our information. We do it for personal reasons, of course, memory. We can do it for backing up our information, such as bills or different types of things that we need to support, let's say, an IRS audit, if you will, and hopefully none of you will have to go through that. But there are some papers that you would need to keep for a certain period of time or for your lifetime. And so this is why it's so important that we talk about how we would want to back up that data. These are some of the tools that I use to back up my data. Now, if you remember from my previous videos, I usually start out with paper. And what I mean by that is that when I'm writing things down, especially when it's during a time right before I go to bed, I don't do electronics. I do have a notebook beside my bed so I can write things down as I'm thinking about them. And of course, when I get up in the morning, I'm also writing things down. So I'm taking that information that's written and entering that information into my computer. Now, the reason I'm doing that is also helping me with my memory. So when I'm writing something down or I'm actually talking into my voice recorder, I am backing up the information by putting it into my computer. So one of the things that I like about the computer that I have now is that I have it in multiple places. So if you're using what they call third-party cloud storage, it allows you to retain the information in the clouds, if you will, and that you can access it from any device, whether it be your phone, your laptop, your computer, or another device. So that's something that can be stored in what we call the clouds. Another thing that I can do once I put it in the computer is I can also print it. Now, one of the interesting things about printing is a lot of people don't like paper. However, if you've experienced a power outage like we did yesterday, I didn't want to be in a work stoppage because I could not get access to a document. So another way of backing up your data is actually printing it. So I started out by writing in my notebook or writing in the planner or writing in a journal. Most of the information that I have is going to go into the computer. And of course, you have the emails or something like that. But if there's something that I think I might want to use later on or as having as a backup, I will actually print it. If someone sends me something that needs to be printed and retained as paper, I will do that. So another way to store is to print it. Then we have what they call a USB port or a flash drive. And as you can see in the picture, the big plans is the paper, and that's where I can print it and either put it in the folder or the folder is in the envelope behind the big plans notebook, or I can just put it there temporarily. So that's the paper. Then we have what we call the flash drive, which is, you can see that. You can see how small it is. Now, I can also get information from not only my computer and laptop, but I can also use it to get information, to store it, or to put information onto my iPad. So that's another way that I can back up the data. So I can back up the data from my tablet or laptop or computer and put it on the flash drive. Now, this particular flash drive that you see here, it holds 128 gigabytes of data. So that's usually going to be something specific. And right now I don't have that much data, but you never know. So let's say I want to back up the entire system. Then we have what we call an external hard drive. And that's the black box that you see right there. Now that one holds 2 terabytes. Now what's really interesting about that is that it is also small. And that's what I used to back up my data before I gave my laptop over so they can transfer information I couldn't get access to the new computer. And of course, when it was left with only 88 gigabytes, it made the transition very smooth. So they were able to transfer the information instead of in 48 hours, they did it in less than 2 hours. So having an external hard drive, I can tell you, is a wonderful thing to have. Now, for the Mac users, they have what they call a time machine. So because I don't have a Mac computer, that wasn't something that I purchased. So additional information will be in the description below. So to wrap it up, these are the different things that you can use to back up your information. You can print it and store it. You can have it in a USB or a flash drive. You can use an external hard drive. And of course, for the Mac users, we have the time machine. And then, of course, we have the third-party cloud storage. Now, with all of these tools that you have, it is very important that you secure the information. Now, you see how small the flash drive is and the external hard drive. They can get lost or they can be taken. Same goes with your paper documents. So you want to make sure that you encrypt your documents, you encrypt the files, you password protect where needed, and also you secure your paper files. So with everything that happened this week, I am happy to say that I am very pleased with working with my new computer, and hopefully you'll start seeing some differences in the videos. You never know. So thank you for spending some time with me, and I hope this information was helpful. See you next week.